It has been so long since I've filmed a workout, so maybe we start this lecture off with a training session with my brother. We're all gonna make it. This is Ratlife University book number, I think we're on 12.
This is a pretty sweet truck.
What's up, guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel. You like that? We're about to go kill the shoulder workout. How do you feel?
I believe we could either do it before or after.
Yeah.
This is today.
I like it.
Holy hell. Does this work? What's that about?
I see the light inside you, brighter than the skies. Hold on, just let us escape and fly away tonight. We have the world in our sight, and I know together we'll be alright. Can you see forever we will go?
That first shot was no good. We could redo it.
Not what I redo. Shit. I'm sure that's fine. I just woke up. It's 4 in the morning and it's a big day today. My brother's gonna go deadlift like 500 pounds. So I'm gonna surprise him and meet him at his gym in the morning. And that's it. We're all gonna make it.
We are forever learning, one step at a time. As long as the world is turning, I'll be by your side.
You know what the fuck it is. Let's go. Now, God, this is going to probably be one of the longest lectures we have ever done. But, oh, I got my Stein here, and it's going to be important because this book was written in ancient times, ancient Babylonia, so I thought a good Stein would be fitting. Today we're going to be discussing the richest man in Babylon, and I have so many notes. Look how thin this book is. Do you see how thin this is? Do you see how thin? There's 116 pages. This is most likely, more than likely, the best book you could ever read on the foundation of financial literacy. And I'm going to give you all the specifics, all the details, all of the gold that I extracted from here just for you at home. Okay, let's get into it. So I wanted to actually start with one of the cures to a lean purse. And just to give you context, because this was published 1926. So this book, one of the cures to a lean purse, and this isn't to shit on this book, this is an incredible book, but I just want to give you guys perspective of the severity of the rat life that we're in right now. This was published 1926. So the cure is own thy own home. And it says, then when the house be built, thou can pay the moneylender with the same regularity as thou dost pay the landlord. So they're saying to pay rather than paying rent that just goes in the trash, put that money towards a mortgage and eventually you'll own the home with the same regularity as you would, pay thou landlord. Because each payment will reduce thy indebtedness to the moneylender. A few years will satisfy this loan. In the 1920s, you could pay for a house in full, in a few years on a single income. That was life then. Now, what do they have? They have the husband working, the wife needs to work full time, the kid needs to get a job, and you get a 30-year fixed mortgage rate with no means to pay it back ever. You are a slave for life. Okay, let's get into the book. I had to start with that. Okay, so I was listening to, or actually I wasn't listening to anything. I was reading this book, and it reminded me of a snippet that I saw from Jim Rohn, Once Upon a Time. And Jim Rohn was the entire foundation of my quest to personal development. I attribute what I'm doing within this university towards the influence that Jim Rohn had on me. And before him, Tony Robbins. But Jim Rohn sent this in a video, and this is where we're gonna start. I have a ton of notes. Buckle up. If you make it through this lecture, it could change your entire financial life forever for you and your entire bloodline. So try to pay attention. Try to sit there and listen. Okay. I asked the waitress at Denny's the 2 most important questions you'll ever be asked in your life. Have you found the opportunity that's going to take care of you and your family for the rest of your life? Are you spending some time every week looking for that opportunity? And the woman said no to both. And he said, how fascinating. And he said, how do you explain that to your family? No, I haven't found opportunity, and no, I'm not looking. And I thought that was brilliant. I had to share that. And I put, it's dire to make explicitly clear the treasure within this university is hollow and worthless if you hoard it and do not use it. So I wanted to explain why I haven't posted a video in 2 weeks. And it's because of the job update. So I've been spending these past 2 weeks doing back-to-back interviews within a new school district that I could potentially be hired within. I'll know within this coming week, which is really cool because then it would take me to the 6-figure mark. So it's very important when you're enrolled in this university and you're applying the actionables that we're doing in all of the literature, book to book. It is all worthless. Knowledge not applied is useless. So if you have all of these ornaments that I'm giving you, but you don't put them on your tree, then what do you have? Just a bunch of useless Christmas ornaments. But if you take all of the gold, all of the actionables, all of the lessons, all of the parables, and then you listen, learn, reflect, see what these are, actionables, consistencies, disciplines, see what you are or are not doing, what you're neglecting in your own life, and then fill the gaps, and then apply, what is the result? Inevitable success. Now that's not to say I'm gonna get the job, but you could. There's a chance. I believe in magic. Here we go. What is the Ratlife credo, right? Yes, belief, but what do you also need? The courage to pursue. You need the pursuit towards your goal if you ever hope to realize it, lest it stay a dream, one you can take to your grave. Understood? I put KK. And that's the job update right now. So I just finished the second round interview. So the first one I did amazing. I did an incredible job. I feel like I won the room. The second one, it did not go to my liking. However, I believe I had some grace in that room because one person that I knew I won over in round 1 of the interview, she was sitting in there. And so if the superintendent voiced to her, who would you choose? I think she might be my angel and say, I would choose him. So I don't know. But in regards to selling myself in the position, with my heart palpitations, I had nightmares the day before. And I don't know if that was about the interview or if that was just God or what have you, to make it so that I was sleep deprived going into the interview. But one advice that my boss gave me prior to going in, she said, if I'm gonna hire you, I need to see you as if you're already in the role of the job. She was like, act like you belong there. And so when the superintendent during the interview was selling me on how this is like the end all be all, because I was so sleep deprived, I just stood there unfazed. And I was like, I understand. And I didn't even smile because in reality, even 6 figures isn't a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? Like, and when people try to sell you that this is the end all be all, when they themselves are in 4 times that, you're just like, you're awake. you understand what the rat life is. You understand that money's not real. You understand that the Federal Reserve prints it out of thin air and then sells it back to the peasants as debt, and that you are in debt in perpetuity unless you escape your rat life. You understand that going to a 9-to-5 is a means to that end, to freedom forever, right? And so it's not my prerogative to be a slave forever, no interest. So all of that was an advantage. And this isn't me committing hubris towards whether I get the job or not. It's just to state that you have to understand that comfort in the workplace is seductive. And if you're not standing guardway at the doorway of your mind, you could be seduced by how easy it is, how comfortable it is. When you gain a little too much confidence in your role, it means you're not challenging yourself, you're not growing, you're getting a little too comfortable, and then you blink and it's 10 years from now. And the increase that you're getting in your promotion and your salary increases, inflation is outpacing, right? If you're not aware of that, you will blink, a lifetime will go by and you'll be like, wait, I was a slave that whole time. I forfeited my goals, I forfeited my dreams, I forfeited my ambitions. I justified and rationalized why it was all okay, that I quit, that I gave up, and I blamed it on chance, on bad luck, on misfortune. That's bullshit, right? So having that awareness is what's going to set you apart, and it's what's going to help close the gap between who you are and the potential of who you can be. Next. Money is plentiful for those who understand the simple laws which govern its acquisition. That was written on the back. I had to write that down in bold. Money is plentiful for those who understand the simple laws which govern its acquisition. I think it was inverted, so I don't think you got to read it, but I love that so much. And I put this is another quote by Jim Rohn. He said, success is something you attract by becoming an attractive person. And then I gave you guys the job update, the job I really want. And this is the reason why I want that job, is there's 3 ways you can learn, right? There's audio learning, there's visual learning, so what you hear and what you see. But then, there's kinesthetic learning, shadowing the guru. Since the dawn of time, there's always been an apprentice followed by a master. And in this position, the title would be executive assistant to the superintendent and board of education. So the highest you can go in that bracket field, and then you can continue on the rat race journey. You can go to be a director of service, like student services. You can be chief of staff. You can do all that. But the premise is, I want to shadow the superintendent who runs the entire school district, and then take all of that gold and apply into this university to learn exactly the ins and outs of how to run an entire school district. Their general fund oversees $120 million in assets under management. So to be able to work there for a year or 2 years, it would be invaluable to this. Do you know what I'm saying? So, and my friend Ricardo, I left him a WhatsApp audio message. He called me a spy. But it's like, it's in the book, The Alchemist. He said, enjoy all of the marvels this life has to offer, but don't drop the drops of oil from the spoon that you carry. Don't forget why you're here in the first place. Do you know what I'm saying? To fulfill your purpose, your goal, your personal legend, your destiny, your vision, to see it come to fruition, right? Think about the other people in your life that you're doing this for. It is selfish for you not to close that gap, because it's you neglecting to remember the people that you say that you care about, that you say that you love. So you have to stay focused. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I want the job. I'd literally be able to shadow the guru, and that's absolutely the best way you can learn, because you can learn things from listening to me in here, right? You can learn and listen, but the retention on audio learning, it's like 5%. And then the biggest reason, selfishly, why I'm doing this university is the greatest way that you retain knowledge is through teaching. As in, I'll give you an example. It's one thing for me to read this book, and then it's another thing to write it down and transcribe my notes. And then it's another thing entirely to figure out a way how I'm going to articulate explaining it so it's easy to understand on your end. It's in that breakdown, it's a quote by Einstein, that if you can explain something to a 6-year-old, if you cannot explain something to a 6-year-old and have that 6-year-old explain it to another 6-year-old, and then have that other 6-year-old explain it to you, you don't fully understand it yourself. And that's the magic of articulation, is breaking something down so stupid simple that a 6-year-old is able to understand it. If you can't do that, you don't fully understand it. And doing this fashion of taking notes, transcribing all the actionables, taking all the gold out of these best books ever written, the best literature of all time on personal development, and then giving them to you is the best way for me to learn. You know what I'm saying? And it's life, what is it? It's not about what you get, it's about who you become and what you're able to give now that you've become more. Next. To shadow the superintendent for a year, I'll learn everything I need to run my own university, and in a short time I'll be, it's true, I'll be able to earn more than he does by being a student. And it's very, very true. And it's just by doing math, right? If at the pinnacle of a position, you're able to earn $400,000 and that's the limit, And across California, that's about the highest pay of any superintendent. So you ask yourself very simple questions. Is there more out there than $400,000? You're like, yes. And then you're like, is it possible to learn the abilities, the skill set that the people who make more than that, have? And then in turn, I can have that, right? And the answers are, of course, right? It's actually in this book, verbatim. It says, it is practical, my lord, that something that is learned can be taught, right? And so it should give you a sense of confidence when there's something that you don't understand, or if there's someone who has a made up title in a workplace. You're just like, this person isn't a harder worker than me, they're not smarter than me, there's nothing that they know that I can't learn, right? If it's the mentality, sentiment, if he can do it, why can't I? And if he can do it, why can't I? And why can't I even better, right? It's having that conviction. Solidified belief in your own ability. Next. I'm speaking very quickly, not because I'm caffeinated, mind you, but because I don't want this to be a 5-hour lecture. So I'm trying to give you guys the maximum gold in the shortest amount of time. Here we go. Next. The most true quote. I listen to this, so I listen to, when I try to go to sleep, I listen to, on YouTube, if you search Ragnar Lothbrok meditation, it's an hour long. It's a thumbnail of Ragnar, like with his head like this on a ship. And this is a quote that he says in the beginning of the meditation ambient music. Power is only given to those who are prepared to lower themselves to pick it up. And I love that so much. And I listed out where I was a year ago. 1 year ago, I took a job as office assistant 4, earning $37,000 salary, less than 60K, less than the 60K I was making 2 years prior before I quit my job to pursue entrepreneurship. But there's a chance in a few weeks that I'll have nearly doubled my old salary and nearly tripled my returning salary, simply by humbling myself with a clear vision of where I wanted to go, understanding that the beginning was a means to my end. People don't want to be viewed as less than from their peers. The same ego they're afraid and too insecure to forego is the same one holding them back from every dream they have coming to fruition. And it's super true. And I think back when I was working a graveyard shift at Amazon just to get back into the 9-to-5 workplace to repay my debts. And it's just like, if I wasn't, if I didn't have the humility to go down to that level of maybe minimum wage with a UCLA education, I wouldn't have been in that room this past Friday sitting with, the superintendent for a potential 6-figure job offer, right? It's about humility. And I think if you can show humility in the small things, then you'll be rewarded with the bigger things, right? Why would God or the universe or whatever you believe entrust you with more if you're not true when the numbers are small, right? If your ego is here and you deem yourself too good for this task to lose 1 pound to save $1, then why the fuck would they entrust you with more if you're not a good steward of this, right? If you can't prove to handle this amount, if you can't prove to express gratitude with little, why would I want to give you more? Because you're not going to be any more grateful with more, right? If you're not grateful with this, all right? And I said, what is Ratlife? It starts with belief and the courage to pursue. It takes courage to work at Amazon on minimum wage after graduating from UCLA, courage to post videos of yourself living in your car for 93 days. That same courage is the reason your success will be inevitable. It's true. They say fortune favors the bold. God and the universe conspire into helping those who have the bravery to courageously pursue their endeavor. Belong them to realize it. Typo. To help them in realizing it. On the other side of your fear stands the very dream you desire the most. I believe that. And the best way to kill fear is to starve it of time, to take action now, to go all in. These are all my notes. To ask her out, to apply for that job, to start that YouTube channel, despite the no, the fear, the 1, 2, 3 views, because if I'm true when the numbers are small, I will be entrusted with more, right? If I persist enough times, I will succeed. I have the courage to fail and to try again, knowing I'm a finite number of attempts away from my dream woman, my dream job, my dream physique, my dream life. A finite number of attempts. You just don't know how many steps, right? But it's a finite number. If I just continue to pursue until, right? And I always remember, we're all gonna make it. Love it. Off to a great start. Not being ready for 6 figures. And so it takes humility to ask yourself, why was I not given this, gift, this grace before? And because this is like the 10th time that I've applied for this title, this position. And I put alignment. Only being given that which you are in a vibrational harmony with. I know it sounds hippie, but why would God or the universe give you X when your actions demonstrate Y? With Y being your negligence, your fear, your misuse of your current gifts and tools and resources, etc. If you aren't true when the numbers are small, why would God entrust you with more? Food for thought. I'm going to put the link in the bio of this video. Now, this is action for me to do. One of the greatest videos I've ever watched on financial freedom and the gap you need to work on creating to guarantee your freedom for you and your family forever. It's a video of Grant Cardone. It's an incredible video. So Grant goes to his sales team and it's like a 30-minute video explaining exactly how to be free forever. And I'll touch upon it in this video, but he just breaks it down. He's like, this is your income. This is what goes to taxes. This is your overhead expenses. This is what you need to live off of in order to have this gap. This gap is your freedom. Because what you do is you stack, you stack, you stack, you put it into an investment vehicle, and that is how you get free forever. He said, if you can do this, he said, I guarantee you'll be a millionaire in your lifetime. And it's just math. It's the power of compound interest over time. But most people, everyone, myself included, can spend as much as they earn. That's called perpetual going nowhere. I can spend more than I earn. That's called slavery, because that's called debt. If I can spend less than I earn, a quote from this book, a part of all I earn is yours to keep. A part of all I earn is mine to keep. A part, not all, right? That's called freedom. So that's what I will do. I'll put the link of that in the bio of this video. I'll remember. Thou makest me to realize the reason why we have never found any measure of wealth is because we never sought it. Interesting. Ask and you shall receive. What is your target? Identify your goal and be very specific. You can't hit a target you don't know. You can't aim at a target you can't point to. Give yourself the gift of destination and therefore direction. It's so true. You ask somebody, what do you want? What would make you happy? I want more money. They're very vague. Here's $1. Are you happy? Well, no. That's weird. I give you exactly what you say you want. You said you wanted, right? But if you can be very specific, your reticular activating system, right? The honing device in your mind, it's a filtering system in your brain where it filters out all the garbage that is unimportant to you based on your value system and allows you to focus and fixate on exactly what it is that you want. So if you say, I want $100 every day, even when you're asleep, your subconscious mind will go to work trying to think of ways to acquire what it is that you seek. Right? Thou wert every thus thoughtful of thy friends, Ben Seer. Therefore thou hast many friends. I thought that was really nice, and so that's why I wrote it. If you're just focused on what you can give and who you can include in betterment, and that's what I'm doing with my garden, that's why I wrote it, is I did this exercise with Ricardo when he was here where we wrote down our dream life, all of our goals, a homework assignment in a prior lecture. Every person who ever visits my apartment, I'm going to require them to do that. As in, I want them to write down their dream life, go 5 to 10 years out, forget the how, and I want them for the first time in their life to see every single thing that they could ever hope to achieve when they allow themselves to be irresponsible, to not need to know the how in foresight. And what's cool is they'll get crystal clarity on what it is that they want when they actually have the courage to dream bigger. It's the quote, how big would you dream if you knew you couldn't fail? And that is the beginning of the bounty that my garden will offer. Next. Very important to note is I found the road to wealth when I decided that a part of all I earned was mine to keep. If you pay everyone but yourself, you might as well be a slave. It's very true. Robert Kiyosaki says that in Rich Dad Poor Dad. He says, you pay everyone but yourself, right? You have a mortgage, you pay the bank. You have a car note, right? You finance your car, you're paying the bank. You have credit card debt, who are you paying? You're paying the bank. Taxes, who's getting the first cut from your paycheck before you even see it? The government. And what's the last one? Student loans. Who are you paying? The bank. And then you buy garbage, so you're spending money to Amazon and to Target and to whatever other fancy trash. And then what do you get? The scraps. And then it says, at what point do you want to stop being a slave? At what point do you say, I'm done paying everyone else. I'm going to begin to pay myself first. I'm going to stop being a consumer and start being a producer, right? An owner. Food for thought. So Wealth, like a tree, grows from a tiny seed. Quote from the book. The first copper you save as the seed from which your tree of wealth shall grow. The sooner you plant that seed, the sooner the tree shall grow. The sooner shall the tree grow. And the more faithfully you nourish and water the tree with consistent savings, the sooner may you bask in contentment beneath its shade. Interesting. So, what is the sentiment? What is the moral of that quote? Be true when the numbers are small. If you're not true when the numbers are small, if you're not, taking care of the pennies, you're not going to be having dollars to tend for, to shepherd, right? Be true when the numbers are small. Take care of these little coins, right? Get the nice jingle in thou purse. Very good. Live on less than you earn. Pay yourself first. Seek advice from those who are competent through their own experiences to give it. Make your gold work for you. Okay, I'm going to get into specifics of exactly what they say in terms of, breaking down the financial component, but I'm just trying to give you all of the golden quotes and notes from the book, The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason, book number 12 of Ratlife University. Forgot to mention at the start. Now you know. Next, be impeccable with your word in the small things to give you confidence to take on the big things. It's very, very true. When we talk about humility, and like I said, Jordan Peterson articulated it very well. He's like, most people won't lower themselves because they deem themselves too good to take the first step, because they deem the first step too small. But he said, because progression isn't linear, it's exponential, it doesn't matter how small that step is, that first step. So when it comes to, say, your financial transformation, most people are too good to lose 1 pound. They say, no, I want to lose 100 pounds. And it's just like, relax. The success is inevitable, right? It's just an X amount of time. But if you're too good to just start to take this, you can't humble yourself for this victory, you will never have the stack to get to this victory. It's the same thing with getting out of debt. If you're too good to, pay more than the freaking minimum payment, and in today's world, man, this was written in 1926. Do you think credit card debt was over 20%? Do you think the national US debt was $36 trillion? No. In this book, freedom was ever more omnipresent. Anyone could escape the rat life. Today, unless it is your number one focus, right? The wormhole of freedom is closing. And this is the last chance for freedom forever, right? To escape perpetual slavery. Do you understand? That's the importance of this noble quest, to be free forever. Nice. I turned on the AC, man, but it's really hot. It's hot in my apartment. It always is. No. Okay. So yeah, be impeccable with your word. Be true when the numbers are small. Have humility, right? To take the first step. Next. Example. I'm not going to take pre-workout today. I'm going to go up to that girl today, etc. Keep your word to develop self-trust and solidify confidence in who you are. So I did that, right? If there's a girl that I want to talk to, I'll go up to her. Because I hate the mental turmoil of what if. The burden and the regret of agony. I combined all of them. What's his name? Ron Burgundy. That is far more excruciating to me than rejection. That I don't care about, that I'll forget about the next day. But it's the what if that is agonizing, right? But also in keeping your promises. If I say I'm not going to take pre-workout today, then I'm not going to. Boom. Self-confidence stacks, because self-confidence is a self-trust system. When I say something, it is. We followed the agreement from the 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Be impeccable with your word. Your word is iron. Your word is your bond, right? If you're true when the numbers are small, if you keep your word in the small things, it'll give you confidence to tackle the big things. Nice. Homework. Memorize this quote. A part of all I earn is mine to keep. A part of all I earn is mine to keep. Got it? But some had in their eyes a new light. They realized that Alchemist had, and that's what I love about this book and why I'm doing it in this order, okay? We did The Alchemist, fable, right? With gold in it. We did The Ultimate Gift, fable, story, gold in it. We did The Greatest Salesman, same thing. This is the last one of the ones that I have that are written in like parable and old fable and Babylonian times, and it's just golden. So, and again, and they say this in The Alchemist, and they even say it in here, and it'll be a recurring theme of all the books on personal development, of getting you freedom forever in every category of your life, right? What is the premise for Ratlife? To escape and to be free forever. people conflate, construe, diminish the gold in here because of the brevity, right? Because this book is so small, there must not be anything of value in it. There's more value in this book than your entire degree that's useless, that you have student loan debt for life, right? I could have gotten a greater education with a $5 library card than I did with $40,000 in student loans from UCLA. Worthless. Garbage. It is a scam. It's doubly inflated. They print more of the diplomas each year, and therefore they're worth less, and they charge more for the degree. You're getting bent over and wrecked twice. Do you understand? It is a scam, and the money is made up. They print it out of thin air, and then they sell it to you as debt. Wake up. Wake up. Okay. But some had in their eyes a new light. They realized that Algamish had come back each time to the room of the scribes because he was watching a man work his way out of darkness into light. When that man had found the light, a place awaited him. No one could fill that place until he had for himself worked out his own understanding, until he was ready for opportunity. I thought that was brilliant. Ready to receive. And it's a quote I said in a prior lecture by Ty Lopez. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. And I put, good morning. My name is Tarek Hawks. I'll be your professor. Next. We are flying by. I like this so much. All right. So tell me, Arcad, is there any secret to acquiring wealth? Can it be taught? And this is what I said earlier. It is practical, Your Majesty, that which one man knows can be taught to others. I thought that was brilliant. I shall teach to you in simple ways how to fatten your purse. This is the first step leading to the temple of wealth. And no man may climb who cannot plant his feet firmly upon the first step. How amazing is that? How amazing is that? That's written in here. They don't give you this book. Dude, Jim Rohn is the one who, on my personal development journey, this is one of the first books he ever recommended, The Richest Man in Babylon. And I gotta tell you, so a lot of the books that we've done in this university, I've already read, including this one, but you come back after not reading it for several years, there's so much gold in it that you didn't read the first time because you didn't have the development for any of it to take root. As in, these books are the Christmas ornaments, but if you don't have the tree of life experience, a foundation to hang them on, then it's just words, it's just noise. But now I can read it after doing entrepreneurship, after traveling the world, after being homeless, living in my car for 93 days, after drowning in debt from failed enterprises, failed business ventures, right? And then I could read this and it's just like, wow, there's so much gold in there. But what did I have? Ego, perhaps, a lack of humility, arrogance, inexperience, but just the same follies that all men on their path to success and greatness endure and encounter and then overcome, right? And then you fail, and then you learn, and then you grow. And then it's only through those trials and tribulations and failures do you get hardened to become a made man, right? That's the importance of the journey. Not about what you get, but about who you become and what you're able to give now that you've become more. Yes! All right. Next. I shall teach you in the simple ways how to fatten your purse. Yes, we said that. And no man may climb who cannot plant his feet firmly upon the first step. All right. 7 cures for a lean purse. Number 1. No, not number 1, but I put number 1. Do exactly as I have suggested to the egg merchant. For every 10 coins you place within your purse, take out for use but 9. Thy purse will start to fatten at once, and its increasing weight will feel good in thine hands, and bring satisfaction to thy soul. What does that mean? A part of all you earn is yours to keep. Spend less than you earn. So if I make 100%, I spend 90, right? I can spend 90. 10%, I covet. I do not touch. It's not mine, right? I don't spend this. Got it? Can you do that? Can you try? There's going to be other homework assignments in this lecture, such as writing down all of your overhead expenses, which I bet, if I were to ask you right now, what is to the dollar your overhead costs, you probably have no idea, right? You don't know how much you're spending on Uber, DoorDash, Uber Eats, going out to restaurants, garbage, all of your subscriptions, all of this. You don't know where the money's going because you don't track it, right? So you're wondering, why am I in perpetual slavery forever? Oh, because the money's coming in, I'm not paying myself first. I'm paying my student loans, I'm paying my mortgage, I'm paying all the interest on all these things, I'm paying for insurance on all these things, paying my credit cards, paying my car note, family, kids, dog, banks, everyone, the government, but myself. And then I'm using these credit cards to buy shit I don't need, to impress people I don't even like. I'm a slave, and I don't respect myself. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound like you? Do you want to be free, or do you want to be a slave forever, right? I don't. I want to be free. Why are we doing this? Why are we pursuing this noble quest of Ratlife University, right? Within Ratlife. To be free forever. This is about freedom, man. Nothing else matters. So, a part of all you earn is yours to keep, number 1. Number 2, control thy expenditures. Homework assignments. So what was the first one? Memorize the quote. A part of all I earn is mine to keep. Homework assignment number 2. Write out your entire monthly expenses down to the dollar. Begin to see where all your money is going. Begin to compare it with your income. Begin to see the glass bowl you're enslaved in. Wait, if I continue this way, I'm broke/in debt forever. And I put correct. You're waking up, Neo. And then I put Newport Mesa story when it dawned on me following by looking over my poorly aged coworker, right? I realized I was in a glass bowl of perpetual slavery when I'd get my paycheck and then I would do my overhead expenses and I said, wait a second, for my apartment, for my car, this was in 2019, for all these things, for my food to satisfy my bodybuilding goals, I was like, I'm earning $3,000 after taxes, right? And I'm spending $3,300 to $3,500. I said, wait, hold on. If I continue in this pattern, I'm broke forever. I have to do client trainings, I have to do online coaching, I have to do all these side hustles to break even. And then I looked at my coworker who aged horrifically, and I said, if I continue down this path, it might as well be 10, 20 years from now. That's exactly where I'm gonna be. Do I wanna be that person? No. And so that's when you realize, wait, this is the rat life, right? This is the scraps that I'm getting paid, that money that's not real, that's made out of thin air that they print, right? And right now, the world is going like this, the United States, they're printing as if it's water, right? The value of your dollar, in a year, I think purchasing power of the US dollar went down by like 25%, or at least since 2020. 25%, so your dollar, oh nice, I'm buying $1 worth, now I'm buying 75 cents worth. Do you get it? Your dollar is getting worth less and less and less. The interest on things is going up and up and up. Credit card interest over 20%. Inflation is making the cost of your goods go up. When you see gas go up, that's milk going up, that's eggs going up, that's everything that requires freight to ship to your grocery store going up. So they're increasing my taxes, they're increasing the interest rate, they're increasing inflation, they're printing more money and making the value of my money worth less. I'm getting raped from every direction financially. And it's all a scam. It's all made up numbers on a screen. When I put $100 into a bank, legally, by fractional reserve banking, they can lend out 90% of it. As in, the numbers that you see on the screen of I have $100, no, $10 required by law is sitting in that bank of yours. The other 90, fairy dust. It's not there, it doesn't exist, it's not real. It's a promise of the bank to return your loan. Do you understand? That you've loaned to them. It's a promise note. It's not real. Money's not real. When you understand that it's all a scam, you understand that, wait, this is modern day slavery. What was slavery before? I'm not gonna pay you. I'm gonna give you free food. I'm gonna give you free medicine. I'm gonna give you sometimes free mates and a place to live. And you work for me for free. When slavery was abolished, they said, wait, I don't want to lose my slaves. Here's fiat currency. I'm going to pay you, but I'm going to charge you for your house. I'm going to charge you for food. I'm going to charge you for medicine. You want to have mates, go to the brothel. Okay? And then you're left with effectively nothing. You are a slave. Slavery didn't go anywhere. It's called the middle class. Do you understand? Wake up. Wake up. Yes. They're getting awake now. So that was my realization that, wait, this is a glass bowl. Why is no one talking about this? Why am I chasing a salary increase that inflation is outpacing? So you get the illusion, oh, I'm making more each year, but that's weird. When I go to the grocery store, I used to spend $50 on groceries, now I'm spending $150. Why? My dollar is worth less and less and less. So even though it's a facade, it's a veil. When you're like, oh, now I'm making six figures today was $30,000 a few years ago, a few decades ago, right? They said in this book, published in 1926, you could pay off the loan of your house in a few years in full and then just pay the king's taxes, right? Property tax. And that's it. Now, it's unheard of to even have the down payment to put down on a house, even with an FHA, right? Where you only are required to put 3.5% down on the property. It's not an accident. They want you to be a perpetual slave for life. We'll learn this in Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. Hypothetical. You get a 30-year fixed mortgage rate, right? At 6% interest. Reasonable. The house is $500,000, okay? How much do you think you're paying in interest in the lifetime of the loan? It's $500,000. So they sell you on the sticker price of this is a 500 grand property. You'll pay $1 million for that property in the lifespan of the totality of the loan, right? In 30 years. So they'll say, don't worry, just pay off your mortgage, then you're free. Don't worry, just pay off your student loans, then you'll get rich, then you'll get free. They keep pushing the ante because they want you to be they don't want you dead, right? They want you as a good cattle working on the farm, producing for them as a cog in the wheel until you die. Do you get it? They want you as a slave for life. Right? Like a good cattle on the farm, giving them milk, giving them butter, giving them all of your meat when the time comes. You are a number on a screen to them. Do you get it? The goal is, number one, to live off less than you earn. And number two, to reduce your overhead expenses as greatly as possible. Number three, to increase your income without increasing your lifestyle. Here's mine to the dollar. We're gonna get personal in this video. You thought I wasn't gonna share with you? I'll share it. I make my salary currently $73,428, which is actually per month $4,749 after taxes / what they withhold for CalPERS. It's like the education, well, it's beyond education because my mom has it and she works as an attorney, and it's a retirement 401k essentially, right? What is my cost of living? It's quite high. $3,925. $2,470 goes to rent and utilities, $105 to lights, electricity, $90 to gas for my car, $30 gym membership, $303 for my car payment. I got it with terrible credit, so it had a high interest rate. $309 for insurance. I pay for both my car insurance and my mom's. $400 a month for food, $40 for laundry. It's about $10 each week, if not more, to do all my laundry. $80 for a haircut. I do it twice, so they're $40 each. Twice a month, every 2 weeks I get a haircut. $97 for miscellaneous, like toiletries. And then I tithe $475 or pay off debt. So that's, tipping my barber, which I do now over 100% tip because of the importance of tithing, of just giving. Or if I go to a restaurant or anywhere, just anytime I have the opportunity to tip, to give, I do. Or to pay off debt, right? Which I have a small amount. In total, car and student loan aside, because the car I could just resell at any time and it gets zeroed out. Student loans, I haven't paid a single dollar since I've gotten them. One day I might pay them, but you gotta understand, with student loans, they're a scam. They did a thing where they absolved some people who got student loans. So the premise of that is just like, why the fuck would anyone who has student loans repay them if certain people got the option to just, no, your loans don't exist anymore. Do you know what I'm saying? So at some point in my life, especially when I get assets and they'll have a claim, they can garnish your wages if you don't repay your student loans, then I might address that. But because I haven't spent a single dollar to repay them, it's not a priority right now. So that is $4,400 all in, leaving me with $349 a month. Important idea for consideration tonight, and I put opportunity cost. So a person could look at my overhead expenses, which I feel are very lean, right? And you could be like, what is the biggest one taking away all of my loot? It's my rent, $2,470. I could rent a room in California, Southern California for maybe $1,000, right? But paying $2,470 for rent, you're just like, Tarek, you are not financially responsible, you're wasting your money. And I put opportunity cost. Do you know what that is? When I first started Ratlife when I came back right? So it was when I came back from Europe and launched the second pre-workout, which was the pink Starburst flavor. I lived with my brother and our roommate Vinny in a Harry Potter closet, paying $600 for rent. I sold my car to go to Europe, did not buy a car when I got back, and had, when it was on sale, $40, when it wasn't $70, bus pass, right? I took my $2,470 rent that I otherwise would have been paying and brought it down to $640, right? But I said, what did it cost me? Time. I'd have to wait at the bus stop for hours sometimes. It would take an entire day to do something like go to the post office or to the gym or to the grocery store. Therefore, money, access, therefore opportunity, confidence. Hey baby, come take the bus with me, right? Therefore, relationships, income, greater opportunities. Why do I choose to live in my own apartment versus renting a room? The argument could be made. Tariq, you could save $1,500 a month. I certainly could. But what is more expensive, right? The $18,000 a year that I could be saving, or the cost of peace? 100% positive, nurturing, healthy, supportive, encouraging, growth, fertile environment where you always get to feel absolutely comfortable in your own skin, effortless to love, completely confident, having total peace, complete freedom without compromise. And I said, which is the greater price to pay, right? Imagine what more you could learn in that environment, in that state of mind, right? And then when you're in that state of serenity, which they even talk about in this book, they're like, you know, when he's going for a strategy to repay off his debts, and they're like, give us more, because he's paying himself first, right? He says, I would be able to do much greater work when I have much more happiness and confidence in being well rested and well fed. It's the same thing here. When I go about my day and my grind in this positive, encouraging environment, which is just myself, but it's an entire curated reality of just winning, of just success, of just growth, of just opportunity, of just positivity, of just encouragement, happiness, just that mentality and mindset, and nothing else, no negativity, no excuses, no victim narratives, no depression, none of that bullshit, right? Then your ability to seek opportunities to increase your income just skyrockets. You know what I'm saying? So the money that you think, oh man, I could be saving, yeah, or you could be just earning more, right? And then when you do, you don't increase your cost of living, which I will get into, don't worry. So ask some questions to consider asking yourself. Where am I bleeding money? Food delivery, takeout, restaurants, bars, alcohol, Ubers, shopping, 100 TV subscriptions. What are my purchases or humble livings costing me? What is it costing me to rent a room if I were to choose to do that, or to take the bus instead of having a car, right? I understand that you're paying for, car insurance and gas, but to be able to save so much time, to be able to network, to be able to grow, to be able to get to these interviews, whatever, what is your frugality costing you? It's something to put into your equation for your financial success. I saw a great video that said, should you buy those new shoes? And the guy said, well, I don't know. Do you feel like the man wearing them? Then fuck yes, you should buy them. Don't underestimate your potential increase to productivity from an increase in confidence and self-image. It's very important. So I'm not saying to spend willy-nilly, right? To buy anything and everything. But if you feel like the Don, if you feel like the king of the castle by having this suit or this jacket, then it's a very, very small price to pay when you're expanding the time horizon. You're just like, this is what I could achieve. This is what I could accomplish. Christian Guzman, who's a multimillionaire, he said that. He was like, you want a life hack to success? He said, get a haircut every week. And he's like, if you can't afford to do it every week, get it at least every 2 weeks. He said, it's that mentality, dress for success. When you feel sharp, when you feel good, when you feel on, you perform. Your output is much more, right? And the increase, it's an upward spiral. So the increase in productivity, the more action, the more results, the greater your belief that this is working, I'm going the right direction, the more potential you tap into, the more action that you therefore take, the even greater your results, solidifies your belief, right? And you keep doing that over and over and over again until what? Until you escape your rat life, until you make it. Next. So I hope that's clear. That's called opportunity cost, right? So I hope you guys understand that. That's opportunity cost. What is the neglecting expenditures costing you? And then what is the wasted money costing you? All right. Next. Now here's the next level. Pending my Friday interview. So the interview that I just had, it has the potential to earn me $112,728, which is on paper is $9,394 per month. After taxes and what they withhold, $7,139 a month. And I put what changes. So my tithing budget would go to 10%, right, of my total. That's 10%, right? When you said a part of all you earn is yours to keep. $715 tithing, I just give it away, right? I give it to the tip for my barber, to Ricardo, who's gonna be living with me, and to the woman that I want. And I put in terms of flowers, dates, buying her food, the like. And then I put in terms of stepping into the role of the provider, I'm already paying for my mom's insurance. And then there's 3 people, my woman, Ricardo, and my brother, that I want to get on my insurance at this new place so that everyone is taken care of on my team. Next is $2,000 I'm going to, of that, which is 28% of the total, I'm going to put towards debt until paid in full. My total outstanding debt, student loans and car financing aside, it's $7,000, not a lot. Like I have $2,700 in the interest that I promised to pay my brother back for the Ratlife debt. And then all my credit cards are like, one has like 800, one has like 400. Well, one has 0, but I'm gonna buy a couch. And then one has, it's gonna be for Ricardo. It's a sofa sleeper. Ricardo's moving here to live here for 6 months at least. So it's a necessary expense. I'm not buying, there's no furniture in here because it's not necessary, but I'm going to be housing someone. I need them to have a bed, right? That also doubles as a couch for them to have during the day. Next, but yeah, once the debt is paid in full, then that exact $2,000 is going to be put towards the bank account that I have is Schools First. And they have this thing for school employees called the Summer Saver account. And they give you a guaranteed yield of 6.5% by just putting it in there, and you can withdraw it at any time. And so that's an incredibly safe investment vehicle, not to make money, to preserve your purchasing power. Your money goes down. If you just have your $100 here, next year it's not worth $100, right? I'm putting it in that bank account just to not lose it. Not in even the hopes of gaining anything, but because they're going like this to our beautiful country, your dollar is gonna soon be off the world currency reserve. Very soon, it's gonna go off of it as the world's reserve currency. Your dollar is going in the trash. Do you get it? So that is what I consider financial wisdom, is putting it in a vehicle where you don't lose it. Nice. My overhead expenses do not change with this new job, should the good gods bless me with it. My living would stay the exact same. I wouldn't increase anything. And this is why when I said, you know, maybe you're not ready to go to the next level. Had I been given a 6-figure job a few months ago, I would have done it for booking people's flights of people who I wanted to see. I would have bought the Mustang that I've been dreaming to drive that I haven't driven since 2021, sorry, that I sold prior to going to Europe, my baby. And now I couldn't give less of a shit about a Mustang because I'm just like, Tarek, who cares about a Mustang now? In a few years, you're gonna be driving an Aston Martin, right? So delay their gratification. It is a means to the end. You know, you understand? So when you understand, it's just like with dieting. The more leaner that you get, which I don't know if you noticed, all-time low of 197, the prep is well underway. The less gratifying the instant gratification, like the sweet treat, the cupcake, the cookie, the brownie, the desire. This becomes less attractive the more results that you get. Similarly, when you're getting closer and closer to freedom forever, you gain more momentum and confidence that I don't give a shit about spending money to garbage to impress people I don't care about, I don't even like, right? Versus freedom forever. You know what I'm saying? All right, next. $500 goes to me. Apartment furnishings and flights. So right now, and I'll break it down later, but right now I'm not really spending anything on personal gratification. I spend 3% per month. So 3% goes to satisfying my personal desires and gratifying my soul in the form of food. So I'll get on the weekend, Saturday, Jamba Juice, In-N-Out for my refeed day, this is carbs. Cookies and cream ice cream from Walmart, and then I'll spend a little bit of gas to drive to Laguna Beach to watch the sunset, right? That's it. In total, it's like $123. Offset to my overhead income, 3%. I spend 3% for enjoying life, and 97% I don't see. And then that is going to be increased should I be blessed with this new opportunity, which, like I said, I really hope it works out because I believe I've been such a good steward of the means that I've been entrusted to steward now. And so I would go from 3% expenditures to about 7%, which would be cool. Tithing is so important. If you don't practice giving when you don't have anything, not only will you not be given more, when you have more, you won't have more to give. Success is something you attract by becoming an attractive person. There's nothing attractive about hoarding your gold, afraid to spend it, or give it to those in greater need, while it just loses value to inflation and devaluing of the currency from the government printing money, right? That's the importance of tithing. Condition abundance. There's always more. There's always more. And it's not real. It's not real. It's made up numbers on a screen. When you zelly your friend, numbers on a screen to numbers on a screen, it's credits in a video game. And that's where it's going. They want to put it on a digital token. That's what they want to turn money into, right? Where it's just a ledger where you'll be able to track and everyone loses their privacy and everyone knows everything that you're spending in the made up money. It's made up. It's a video game. All right, this battery's dying. I got to switch it. All right, hold on. Don't worry. I'm back. It's crazy how shiny my forehead looks because the light is right here and it's hot in my apartment. But don't let my excuses perturb you. Here we go. Condition abundance, there's always more. Okay. Cost of living doesn't increase whatsoever. So it's very important, right? I have all of my social medias currently, this moment, deleted. I'm not getting into the FOMO. I don't care what anybody else is doing. I don't feel the need to do anything to spend money on shit that I don't need, right? So what is the beauty of that? When I get to my next level, when I'm earning my 6 figures, I'm not going to increase my cost of living. I've got everything that I need. I don't need more. There's certain things that I'd like, right? I'd like, a dining table, right? $100, $150. I'd like a couple chairs on the patio for me and my boy. I'd like a TV to watch movies on my rest days once a week, right? Little things, little one-time cheap purchases, all in less than $1,000, right? It's nothing. But other than that, I don't need to buy other shit and other garbage and be a slave forever. I'd rather, this is the secret, you ready? People, they get money and then they spend it on garbage. Wealthy people, they get money, they put it into an asset, and then the income that is produced from their asset they use to buy their garbage. And that is how they get wealthy forever, is they just do that intermediate portion. Everybody else skips over that. Everybody else takes their money, buys garbage. You should only buy your luxuries with the revenue that is produced, the income that's produced, cash flow from your assets. But it takes time. If you put $100 or even more, several $100s, $1,000 into a stock, your dividend is dollars. It's dollars, right? When you have a $2,000 stake in this stock and you're getting pennies, you're getting the drip. It's nothing. But if you do that over a long enough period of time, that stream of gold will flow ever more so to thy river. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? I love doing this university in terms of my own progression because you're seeing myself escape the rat life in real time. You're seeing me apply the actionables and you're seeing the result of it. Whether it's the increase in the increase in pride of in how I take care of my appearance, the personality that you're seeing behind the camera, right? The tan, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm slightly more tan. When I'm able to go from this income to this income to this income, it all compounds, dude. But that's the importance, and that's why we're late on this. It's been 2 weeks since we posted a book. Why? Because what's more important, posting this book, right? Or getting this to the next level. And the beauty about it is this. Say I do get the job, right? And we're crossing our fingers, you're hoping that Tarek does. We'll be able to catalog it. By book number 13, Tarek was able to earn a 6-figure job. By book number 20, Tarek was able to get the woman of his dreams. By book number, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, well, hopefully book number 14. Hopefully we don't have to wait until book 20, but that's okay. All right, next. Cost of living doesn't increase whatsoever. Paying off high interest debt versus investing. So when you invest in something, you're hoping for a 6 to 10% average rate of return. But when you pay off something like a high interest credit card, you're guaranteed a plus 20% return on your investment. It's actually a statement from Mark Cuban. He said that's the number one thing you should pay off is high interest debt because that's a guaranteed return of your money. So if your credit card interest right now, your interest is at 23, 24, 25%, and you pay that off, that's an immediate return on your money, right? Versus the 6% that you're hoping to invest when you put into the stock market, okay? Credit card interest is the highest it's ever been historically. These motherfucking snakes want you to be enslaved forever. It really is, man. It's such a scam. Compound that with your mortgage, your student loans, and your car financing. Congratulations, you're a slave for life. Welcome to the rat life. It's so true, man. It's why we're sharing this knowledge. We're waking each other up. We're holding each other accountable. Hey, we don't have to live a life of perpetual slavery. Hey, I am living a life of slavery. I'm working my ass off and I'm not seeing any fruit of my labor for it. All of my money is going to the gutter. It's going to taxes, it's going to inflation, it's going to interest rates, it's going to all this debt, it's going to the interest on debt, it's going to the insurance on all this debt, right? It's being thrown in the trash. Why? Because they want me as a cog in a wheel, a rat in the maze, as a good, docile, compliant, obedient slave for life. Do you get it? Wake up. Next. The reason that I'm not concerned about my current overhead expenses is because of two things. Number one, my plan and active pursuit of increasing my income. And with the newfound mindset to not increase my cost of living. Finally. Like I said, had I been entrusted with these coins, which is why I wasn't, what would I have spent it on? A fucking car that I don't need, on flights for people that I don't love, on all this garbage, right? Note, I believe God gives you what you're ready to receive. If I were to have been given a 6-figure job 5 months ago, I would have bought my Mustang that I've been longing for and spent money on women and on flights, 2 or 4 women. Now, just like with dieting, the more progress that you get, the less desirable and instant gratification appeals to you. I have the cupcake now. Why have the cupcake now when I can have the entire cake in just a short amount of time, right? Why buy a Mustang now when I can have an Aston Martin in a few years? If you do what others won't, you'll live a life others can't, right? So that was number one, right? When I said, why am I not concerned about my overhead expenses currently, which are quite high relative to my income? Number two, having my own apartment allows me to provide for Ricardo, completely give him a place to live, and be giving him his freedom forever. And now I'm in a position to give my woman her freedom forever. My number one goal of 2024 was to be a provider, to step into the role of what it means to embody masculinity, right? Which is protecting and providing for others. In a few months, if I'm graced with this new job, all of my debt is eradicated and I can be the sole provider for Ricardo and for my woman. As in the people in my clan, the people in my guild, the people on my team, that Ratlife will be known for, will be known and it will be synonymous with freedom forever. That's what I want. I want Ratlife to be synonymous with freedom, because that is the only reason we're doing this, to be free forever, right? That's the garden I'm working to build. Ratlife will be like an oasis for people who yearn for a life of freedom. God, I love it. Also important to note, what did we say at the start of this lecture? The 2 most important questions you'll ever be asked in your life. Have you found the opportunity that's going to take care of you and your family for the rest of your life? Are you spending some time every week looking for that opportunity? Very important. I'm also applying for 3 small business grants for Ratlife, 2 $10,000 grants and 1 $5,000 grant. And again, this is important to note. Within this university, the reason freedom is inevitable is because of all the actionables that compound. And if you apply each one, book after book, into your own life, into the effort that you put into finding opportunities to secure your freedom for yourself and then for your family, into increasing your skill set, your knowledge, your value, and therefore your income, you will gain momentum. You will harness the success cycle in an upward compounding spiral. So it's very important that you see, I'm taking all of the gold from the books, from the literature, from the personal development within this university, and I'm applying it into my life, whether it's looking for an opportunity to level up, to get to the 6-figure income, looking for opportunities to apply for grants that I can then fund for Ratlife, for this university. Everything we can do to improve, to grow, to develop, to increase our value, to level up, right? To escape, and then to be free forever. That's the goal. But that doesn't happen in the omission of action. Get it? Otherwise, it's just words. It doesn't mean anything if not applied. Next. Your success will be inevitable. That is your next homework assignment. So we have a couple, right? The first one, a part of all I earn is mine to keep. Memorize it. The second one, write down all of your overhead expenses. Where's your money going, right? How much are you spending? How much debt do you have? Write it down to the dollar. Okay. Third, from Jim Rohn, the only reason I have ever heard of this book, The Richest Man in Babylon. Spend some time each week looking for the opportunity that's going to take care of you and your family for the rest of your life. And I do that every single day. It's the first thing I do when I go to work is I go to, it's called EdJoin, which is the job bulletin online website where every job vacancy in California in education is posted. Is that a job bulletin search as a part of your morning routine? Is that in your consistency in developing your business each week? Is that in expanding your network every week on LinkedIn? Spend some time each week, this is your homework assignment, looking for the opportunity that is going to take care of you and your family for the rest of your life. Step into the role of what it means to be a masculine man, a man amongst men, right? Okay. Every effort counts. Every effort sown, you will reap a harvest. Plant intelligently and continue to take massive action followed by a change in approach if something indefinitely doesn't work. Use your brain. Don't diet for 2 weeks and say, oh, it's not working, and then quit. Don't be stupid. You're not going to undo a decade of garbage in 2 weeks. Lose your ego and your arrogance. Conversely, if you tried something for several months to no avail, you need to recalibrate, right? I don't care how good of a person you are. If you're trying to go west, but you're walking in the direction of east, it doesn't matter how hard you try. And then I put east. I thought you said west. I'll tell you a funny story. So my girlfriend, when I was in senior year of UCLA, we went to Disneyland during the new year. Yeah, the new year of I think it was 2016, 17. Otherwise it was 2015, 16. But I think it was 16, 17. Yeah, after I graduated from UCLA. And I remember Ubers were so expensive in that hub, right? They charge you like triple. It was really ridiculous. I was trying to go from Anaheim to Santa Ana back to where I was living. And it was like a 10-minute drive. And they wanted to pay like $60, $70. It was such a scam. And I was like, let's just walk away from it. And then, we won't have to pay this garbage. She agreed. She's like, okay, no problem. So she had the directions to get to my place. And it was in her pocket. And I was like, no, trust me, I know where we're going. And I was going one way. And her phone kept buzzing. And then I was like, no, it's fine. And we walked for like a mile. And then we go and look up, the Uber cost. And it was even more because we were further away. And her phone was buzzing because it was saying, wrong direction, turn around. And then I said, and if you've ever gone to Disneyland, man, you're walking for 16 hours, right? So you're exhausted, you haven't eaten, you're just, it's a long day. And then this is like after midnight. And then I was like, probably why not I'm with this person anymore. I said east. I thought you said west. And she just didn't say anything. She looked so defeated and then started turning around. Holy shit, that was hilarious. But and then we ended up like paying for the Uber and it was like fucking $70 or $80. Such a scam. Okay. It's so funny. It's so hot in here. All right, use your mind. You know what you're neglecting to do. You know what you should do. You have the answers. All you have to do is sit alone quietly with your thoughts. They will scream the truth. And this is all, by the way, from this book. I want you to understand every parable, every reflection, everything that I'm doing, it's related to this book. Next. Just trying to give you guys all the gold from it. The victim rhetoric will say it's not my fault. It's because of the economy. The slave rhetoric, the slave mind. It's because of this president, it's because of this boss, it's because of the spouse. Conveniently everything that isn't them. How convenient. They're always involved, but it's never their fault, right? How convenient to forfeit all accountability or responsibility and therefore thereby forfeit any power to improve or remedy their situation, i.e. to take action. Convenient. But you're not a victim if you're enrolled in this university, are you? There are no slaves within Ratlife University. No. If you would like me living with the cockroaches, now this is what I put. No. If you, like me, I was living with the cockroaches and the prostitutes next door and the drug addicts and the alcoholics, you would nod your head and say, if you were like me, this is what you do. You'd say, this is my fault, which I did. I was living in this shithole, not in July, right? July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, 10 months ago. Prostitute neighbor, homeless there, like sleeping in his truck. There were literally homeless people there. So it was like a homeless shelter. Living in a hostel, right? Multiple beds in a room. Homeless, drug addicts, prostitute, alcoholics, fucking losers, cockroaches coming out of my sink, right, when I was washing my dishes. And I said, this is your fault. And I went like this. And I said, but you know what? What's to come? That's your fault too. Fuck yes. And it's true. That's called being a hero. Someone who takes ownership of their life. So then the question is, once you've accepted life, as your fault, you are where you deserve to be, what the fuck are you gonna do about it? Next. Food for thought. Now I will tell thee an unusual truth about men and sons of men. It is this, that what each of us calls our necessary expenses will always grow to equal our income unless we protest to the contrary. It's so true. When you read the book Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins, it's like this big, 700 pages. 600 pages is on psychology, right? It's about mindset. And then 100 pages is about financial literacy and application. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with all these books. It's the actual things that you need to do, the disciplines. It's so easy, right? But it takes this and losing your arrogance and losing your mindset, and losing your, insatiable lust and hunger for more, right? To be like, dude, I'm good. I can just be content with this. I don't need all of this garbage, right? Even if you had a feast in front of you, how much of that could you eat before you felt like shit? Do you know what I'm saying? Have any pleasure and euphoria and ecstasy this life has to offer, you can only indulge in so much, right? So it's very important. A man can always spend what they earn, right? The trick is simply to not increase your spending as you earn more, or reduce the cost of your living, or both. That's the game. And that's in the video that I'll put in the link in this bio. That's what the game from Grant Cardone. The game is you make this, you either need to make more, you need to live off of less, or you need to do both. So the gap from your overhead income to your overhead expenses widens. That's called freedom. When your overhead expenses are here and your income is here, right? That's called slavery. So we want our overhead expenses here and our income here. We want to be free forever. All right. Now we can move on next. My phone locked. Okay. I like the idea of putting into place a plan where you treat yourself, you get to treat yourself along the way of the journey. To live, save, and spend as if you're going to live for 40 years as well as 40 days, because both may be true. I heard that from Tristan Tate. That's my investment strategy. I live as if I'm going to live for 40 years, and I spend as if I'm going to live for 40 days, right? Because both might be true. You might die in 40 days, you might live for 40 years. So having a long-term strategy, but also not forgoing indulging in the little pleasures of life, celebrating your victories along the way, indulging during the process, to lose the rhetoric of I'll be happy when. I can be miserable for all of this. Oh, and then I'll be happy once I get this reward, once I make this money, once I get this woman. No. If I just structure and strategize and position my life to where I'm indulging and celebrating the victories, the small successes and wins along the way, then you'll never feel like and this is exactly how I structure diets. With the idea of flexible dieting is so long as you do your protein, you satisfy your macronutrient for the amount of protein that I have, and then you stay within your caloric limits, then I don't care where your carbohydrates come from. And so if you're craving bread this day or oatmeal this day or whatever this day, then you can satisfy those cravings so it never feels like you're going in lack, you're going without. Now, are you gonna feel like shit if you take all your carbs and just drink Pepsi? Of course, right? And then it's about, think intelligently. However, having a little indulgence here, a little cookie, a little brownie, whatever, it's not going to undo the weeks of work, because at the end of the day, in terms of calories and macros, it's just math. Do you know what I'm saying? So I can still gain linear progression, and it never feels like I was restricted in any way. And when you get deeper and deeper into a cut like I am now, having something like sugar-free syrup, it tastes great. You don't even know, right? Because you're so used to cleaner and clearer eating, to the point where when you consume, say, full regular syrup, you're just like, this tastes like shit. It's the exact same thing when you haven't had soda in a long time, and then you drink soda, and you're just like, Jesus Christ. But when you drink that all the time, you're just like, oh my God, it's the best thing ever. You know what I'm saying? Because you're conditioned to it. So enjoy yourself, man. Enjoy the little pleasures this life has to offer, dude, because you could die tomorrow. But if you weren't gonna die tomorrow, play the long game as well, right? I think 5 to 10% of your purse spent on you enjoying life's little pleasures is enough to gratify the soul. keep you hungry to continue progressing and happy to enjoy the process. I think omitting that would do yourself such a disservice. There's a potential to fall prey to, I'll be happy when, right? I'll allow myself absolute misery and zero gratification, and I'll give myself permission to be happy on the completion of the goal until you get there and achieve the goal and you're still not happy. Quote from Tony Robbins. He said, success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. And I've literally had this happen. You get exactly what it is that you said that you want and you're still not happy because you said, you didn't give yourself permission to be happy along the journey. You just said, I'll be, happy here. But then you're the same person that makes it to here, so you're still with yourself, and you're just like, well, I'm not happy, but I have the exact thing that I want. Failure. Because you got exactly what it is that you wanted. Where do you go from there? You know what I'm saying? Next. Treat yourself. Stay disciplined and focused. Earn your indulgences. Don't reward yourself until you've done the work. How many times, I'm included, you give yourself the reward with the omission of the work, and you don't even get to enjoy the indulgence of the reward, right? So that's what people do. They give themselves a reward without any action, and to the point where they don't even get to enjoy it, right? Ice cream never tastes better than it does when you indulge into it after, dieting for a time or a completion of a prep. It goes with any delicious food. I like positioning myself in my goals. These are all my notes. To get me motivated and excited, something to look forward to. At the end of the semester or year, I can enjoy this trip or this festival or buy this car, etc. But it's always an earned indulgence. And that's the challenge I had with my friendships in the past, is the experiences that I would share with my friends was my indulgence, but it was there every day. It's why I found myself with so many alcoholic and drug addict friends, right? Me taking mushrooms or me doing, ecstasy or MDMA or whatever, that was my indulgence from a fucking year of work. And for them, that was their every weekend, right? And so it's the severity of the quote, you are the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So be quite mindful of the reality that you curate in your garden, he said ominously. All right. Because next thing you know, you'll find yourself living in a car for 93 days with a prostitute neighbor and drug addict and alcoholic friends. And then you're just like, oh, wait. Good morning. All right. Next. I've done it when I haven't earned it, and nothing sucks more than being miserable during the reward, depressed at a festival or in Europe, etc. Number 3 of the cures to a lean purse, make thy gold multiply. And I told you my plan of going into Schools First, which is my bank. It's called their Summer Saver account, and it gives you a guaranteed 6.5% interest yield on the money that you put in there, with a cap of up to $2,000. Which, if I get the new job and I get it at the salary placement, if I'm able to make it to negotiations at that number, it'll be 28% that I'm putting away in that investment vehicle. You can also do what's called a money market account, funds that invest in low risk assets like treasury bonds or CDs, certificates of deposit. So I wanted to explain that in this video. And so this is the scam. You ready? And I'm gonna pause this because I'm gonna charge the other one in case this dies. Hold on. So much gold in here, so I just wanna make sure I give you as much of the gold as I can in terms of your foundation for your financial literacy. Treasury bills, bonds, and notes. So a bond is where it's 20 to 30 years until the date of maturity. Notes are 2 to 10 years. Bills are 4 weeks to 1 year. What does that mean, right? This is the scam. You ready? So the Federal Reserve prints money out of thin air. They sell it the government buys it in the form of bonds, right? Treasury bonds, treasury bills, treasury notes. And so it's all made up fairy dust money. And then they sell it to the people in the form of debt. Do you understand? As in, they incentivize you to buy their debt, right? The money that they print out of thin air, by giving you a high interest yield on it. So they're like, oh, just buy this treasury bill, this treasury note, this treasury bond, and we'll give you 4%, 5%, 6% on your money, right? And then you, the person, you're just like, oh, fantastic, I'll go do that. And then what happens is, then they do inflation. And when inflation goes like this, and they drop the interest rate on the money, then you don't make any money on your interest. And so you're just like, wait a second, I just got fucked. And so it's all a scam. I just want you to understand that. So think about it. Ready? I'm gonna say it again, just so I understand it. The government takes made up money out of thin air and takes that scam money and sells it to you in the form of debt that they call treasury notes, bills, and bonds. And they incentivize you with this made up money that you use your actual dollars to buy in the form of high interest on them. But then when inflation happens, you don't even make money on that investment. Do you understand? They fuck you. And it's how the US government tries to pay off their debt that they print out of thin air. But they're not doing it. People aren't buying them fast enough. So you're seeing the national debt go up from 34 to 35 to 36 trillion dollars. It goes up by another $1 trillion every what? 90 days. Where does that mean our government, our country is going? To the fucking gutter, to the toilet. The US dollar will no longer be the world's reserve currency. It'll be the yen or something. You understand? You're seeing the decline of the Roman Empire or the British Empire, the Dutch Empire in real time. You've never experienced this in your lifetime. This is the decline of the US empire, right? So your money is going to the garbage. The current scam of the Federal Reserve, printing money out of thin air and then selling it to the American people, that in the form of treasury securities, incentivizing you to purchase them through a high interest yield, right? Don't worry, we'll give you this high interest yield on this money that we made out of thin air. But here, give me your money, and then we're gonna tax you on your money. It's a fucking scam, dude. But what happens when inflation comes? That's when you look into asset allocation and diversification. Investing in something like gold would be a hedge against inflation. So that when your investments in this money market account, such as a treasury bill, treasury security, right, goes down, then the other bucket, for example, buying in gold or minerals, whatever, goes up. For the time being right now, in my financial position, once over, advocated the remainder of my debts, I'm going to begin with this incredibly high interest savings yield account. So what I'm going to do to share it with you is right now, my number one prerogative is being free in terms of debt. Debt equals slavery. I still have all this garbage debt. It's not a lot of money, right? It's $7,000 all in. But all of this garbage takes forever to pay off because of the interest on it and because of the margin that we don't make from our current overhead expenses to our income. So the two things you can do is lower your overhead expenses, which I'm not going to do because this is something I'm not going to compromise, right? This mindset, this state of mind, this environment. I'm not going to fucking compromise this for anything or anyone. So what's my alternative? I have to increase my income, right? And then now with this mindset, I'm not going to increase my cost of living. Do you understand? And then that money will create that gap, and that gap I can use in investment vehicles once the debt is paid off in full. The first one that I'm going to do is this guaranteed 6.5% yield, right? That's what I'm going to do. Okay. Where I'm at right now, the goal is to make money. The goal is not to make money, it's just not to lose it with the direction that this country is going. They're doing their absolute best to devalue the currency. We're getting wrecked by inflation to where the cost of assets are becoming more and more unaffordable, so the middle class is getting eradicated and the gap of wealth, the wealthy people to poverty, is widening. The US dollar won't be the world's reserve currency, and eternal slavery is what awaits us. So anyway, that's literally what's happening. The gold we may retain from our earnings is but the start. The earnings it will make shall build our fortunes. Quote from the book. So each time I loaned to him, I loaned back also the rental he paid to me. Therefore, not only did my capital increase, but its earnings likewise increased. Most gratifying was it to have the sums returned to my purse. So the premise of that is, when it comes to investing, and don't listen to me yet, reinvest your earnings, because then you'll begin to tap into compound interest. So I'll give you an example. I have $1,000, right, that earns a 6% interest. I get $6 on this, right? Or is that 60? $60? $60. So I have 1,000, 6% interest. Now my total is 1,060. But then that 1,060 compounds at that 60%, at that 6%. I butchered it, and I know that if you don't say this in super simplicity, sharply, it doesn't get retained. Compound interest. If I have $1,000 and I have it on a 6% interest, then my new total is $1,060. When you compound that now at 6% interest, it's higher, right? The compounded portion won't be $60. It will be, we'll do this in real time so you can see it, 1,060 times 0.06, $63.60. It doesn't sound like a lot, but over time, what does it look like? Exponential. That's the importance of being true when the numbers are small, because if you won't do it here, you won't harness the power of compound interest there. Very, very important. So that's why they said this is a law for the cure to a lean purse. The gold we may retain, it's but the start. We need our money to earn for us, to work for us, like a good gold slave, and then we put the copper slaves to work by reinvesting the earnings. And if you have investing apps, there's literally a button you can switch on to reinvest the dividends that you earn, to reinvest the earnings. You can just do an automatic thing. And it's important, Tony Robbins said this, and I don't want to get ahead, but it's in the book, Money Master the Game. He said, when you get your promotion increase, just have that new sum, you don't even see it. Just have that new sum allocated to your investment vehicle to where you don't even see it, because we can't trust you. Can't trust you, guy, right? But we can trust that if you don't see it, you won't even worry about it. It's like it didn't even happen. And that's the key. It's not to look rich, it's to be rich. You know what I'm saying? So that's the game, man. That's the game. Each time I loaned to him, we said that. Most gratifying was it to have the sums returned to my purse. Reinvest your earnings, you begin to tap into the magic of compound interest. So this is the process by which wealth is accumulated, first in small sums, then in large ones, as a man learns and becomes more capable. The ideology is what I just said. Be true when the numbers are small. If you aren't, why would God entrust you with more? Why? Wouldn't. Every man should own his own home, and it's no problem because it's paid outright in a few years. And I put a skull emoji. That's the fucking ridiculousness, absurdity of the world today, is that just a few years ago, right, with a high school diploma, maybe a higher education, you could, number one, completely support your family, no problem. Number two, you could have an entire house paid outright in full in just a few years. What did they do? Median salary 50 years ago, $30,000. Median salary today, $50,000, right? Goes up by nothing. House, cost of a house, just under $100,000. Cost of a house now, average, over $500,000. How did salary not go up even 2x, but cost of property went up 5x, right? Explain that. Did the value of the property increase so much? No. The value of your dollar decreased infinitely. Does that make sense? Your dollar since 50 years ago has just been worth less and less and less and less as they print more and more and more and more out of thin air. It's a scam. You're living in a glass bowl. You are a slave buying into this system, right? Money is not real. It is numbers on a screen. It doesn't exist. It's made up. And you slave away your entire life for made up pieces of paper that they print infinitely of. Get it? So the importance is increase thy ability to earn. Next. Therefore did I determine that I would be exceeded by none. This is Arcad speaking, the richest man in Babylon himself. Nor did it take long for me to discover the reason for their great success, the other clay tablet makers, right? More interest in my work, more concentration upon my task, more persistence in my efforts, and behold, few men could carve more tablets in a day than I. It's very important. With all men, that first step which changes them from men who earn from their labor alone to men who draw dividends from the earnings of their gold is important. And that's so cool, and I'm about to make that transition. I did it in the past, but with a lot of failure and a lot of mistakes, and I withdrew, and I just, all that to where we are today. But you have to go through those failures and those lessons, right? But now, when I'm able to eradicate the debt, then I can begin to see the gratifying of my soul happen in real time, because those monies will then earn me more monies. And the more monies that get into the new monies, that will earn even more monies. And then you'll be able to be free forever, right? And so it's really cool, because then you go from earning money not just through your labor alone, but you finally have your money working for you. And what's interesting is Andrew Tate did a really good post about this. I think it was on Twitter. I don't have it, but he posted a video where he read his tweet, and he said, this is the scam of, if you have $500 to invest per month, you're a slave forever. But he said, I can take $10 million and put it into something and literally in a few days make $1 million on that, right? And he said, that's how rich people can stay infinitely, perpetually rich forever. It's literally like that. And then now I've just made $1 million out of nothing, right? And this person slaves his entire life to make that. It's, when they say the rich get richer, it's just because at that level, at that game, if you're making 5%, 10%, whatever return on this, on $500, dude, it's nothing, right? But at this level, it's just like, bro, someone's lifetime of labor like that. You know what I'm saying? But Can you get there in time with just persistence, with just doing the best that you can for the day? Kobe Bryant said it, and he was speaking of the importance and the value of compounded work, compounded growth, and we're gonna read the compound effect later on in this university. And he said, if I just focus every day, just getting a little bit better, just doing a little bit better every day, and you do that over the span of 20 years, he said, then what do you got? Right? The quest of this university will be 25 years, 100 semesters for 100 plus 900, 1,000 books. Excuse me. Next. Okay, we're almost done, guys. We're wrapping it up. That's the day you become an owner and not simply a consumer. So must every man master his own spirit of procrastination before he can expect to share in the richest treasures of Babylon. Then they got into the topic of luck. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. Good luck can be enticed by accepting opportunity. Men of action are favored by the goddess of good luck. In the book, her name is Ashtar. He who spends more than he earns is sowing the winds of needless self-indulgence from which he is sure to reap the whirlwind of trouble and humiliation. And I put 100%, man. You look at Tarek Houks of 2022, 2023, spending money I didn't have, going to festivals I didn't have the money for, taking my mom on Euro trips I was just taking out, like literally maxing out my credit cards to be able to do. But my mindset was always long term. It's just like, this might be the only chance in my lifetime to be able to do this for her. She could die. And so I was like, this is such a small price to pay when I offset it in my total lifetime. And I don't regret any of it. I don't regret doing my Euro trips, which I came back to being, whether I was living in a closet or living in my car, because some of those people that I met along that journey, or things that I've learned, or, what I learned from entrepreneurship or starting my own business, or all of those things I wouldn't fucking trade for anything in the world. So I don't regret any of it. But the sentiment of that statement is so true. He who spends more than he earns, which I was so known to do, I wanted to always give myself a sense of urgency, to put myself into a corner, because I thrive under pressure and under stress. So I would spread myself financially so thin before I hit literally rock bottom. And he said, he who spends more than he earns is sowing the winds of needless self-indulgence from which he is sure to reap the whirlwind of trouble and humiliation. And exactly, as you sow, so shall you reap. Dude, I ended up with drug addict friends, alcoholic friends, prostitute neighbors, cockroach coming out of my sink, living in a fucking hostel, living in the Harry Potter closet, living in a homeless, living in a car for 93 days. Not an accident, right? You are exactly where you deserve to be. It is the result of actions, decisions of the past, right? For 2 years, this is from the book, I had a restless and unsuccessful life working for caravan traders. From this, I fell in with a set of likable robbers who scoured the desert for unarmed caravans. Such deeds were unworthy of the son of my father, but I was seeing the world through colored stone and did not realize to what degradation I had fallen. And I put Tarek 2022 to 2023. When you're surrounded by fucking drug addicts and by alcoholics and by prostitutes and by fucking losers, you think that's normal. And so I look back and I analyze in terms of the pride that I would not take in my appearance, how I would allow myself to go out during the day, or how I just would allow myself to operate, the work that I would not do, the professionalism, the manner that I would not carry myself. Your standard is here, and Andrew Tate articulates and verbalizes it very well. He's like, when you're surrounded by disgust and laziness and sloth and fucking losers and gross and disgusting people, you think that's normal until you're with killers, and then you're just like, no, these people are fucking losers and disgusting and cucks and drug addicts and alcoholics. How the fuck how do I have the lack of self-respect to allow myself to tolerate being surrounded by these people? You know what I'm saying? And then what is the casualty of it? It doesn't end with just me, right? It ends with all of the people whose lives I could better, but I'm not. Because I could be this, but I'm choosing to be this because I'm surrounding myself with fucking this. Got it? So I want to say that one more time. Such deeds, right? He was in the caravan with the traders and the robbers, scouring the desert for unarmed caravans, were unworthy of the son of my father. But I was seeing the world through colored stone and did not realize to what degradation I had fallen. When you're surrounded by prostitutes, alcoholics, losers, fucking drug addicts, you think that's normal, and it's not. until you surround yourself with killers, or until you pay the premium and you're in your own environment of nothing but support, encouragement, positivity, growth, the word fucking yes. Got it? But also, because I'm so pleasant and nice and we'll say agreeable, people don't check me, right? They don't say, hey, Tarek, what the fuck are you doing? Do you know what I'm saying? I wish somebody would have told me that. I wish someone said, dude, this isn't cute. What's going on, man? Are you okay? But no one ever, I wish I had a sibling who would have done that to me and just be like, dude, get your shit together. I wish I had a father figure say that to me. Like, dude, you're disappointing me. But it takes you, and Mike Tyson said this great, and he's so right. And I can say this because not to his level, but I experienced my own rock bottom. Literally, it'll be 1 year ago on Tuesday, which is so cool. He said, rock bottom is beautiful. Every man needs to go through rock bottom because once you finally hit rock bottom, there's nowhere to go but up. And it's so true. Until you get fucking decimated and wrecked, until you have that whirlwind of humility, of humiliation, of just your absolute lowest low, then you'll continue doing stupid shit. You'll continue spending frivolously. You'll continue to surround yourself with fucking losers. You'll begin to not step into the role of masculinity, of being a provider for others. You'll begin to continue a path of extreme selfishness and not ever begin to pursue your path of selflessness. You know what I'm saying? So that was my 2022 to 2023. And then when 2024 happened, I said, no longer. My appearance, my bank account, my debts, my friends, where I lived, my standard was absolute garbage. With my hair, and this is in the book, with my hair shorn and but a loincloth to wear, I was not so different from the other slaves, right? And I put in bold, you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If I were to get this job, which I'll find out this coming week, right? It will be the direct result of the only people I surround myself with at work are every single person who makes 6 figures. And I look in the room, I'm in a room with these 12, 14 people, all these administrators, managers, directors, assistant superintendents. I'm just like, you make 133, 144, 127, 125, 147, because I see all of their budgets, I see all their salaries. And so every day I go into the office and that's my surrounding. That professionalism, that work ethic, that discipline, that expectation. And so if I get this job, it would literally be proof of that. You are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And when they say your network is your net worth, it's inevitable that you level up just by being in the vicinity, just by being in the room of a high performer, high achiever, right? It's so true. If you look at where I was 23 or 22 to where I am now, dude, it's night and day simply from curating my reality. I made a list yesterday. I was like, how many people have I who no longer have access to me? It's a very long list, and there's several reasons why. Unsupportive, unproductive, lazy, loser, cuck, drug addict, prostitute, alcohol. Well, I don't have any prostitute. I wasn't conversing with them. Let's scratch that one. Alcoholics, all these fucking losers, people who had lives that I did not want. I don't want to be you. I don't want to go where you're going, right? But you surround yourself because they're nice, because you have good laughs, because you have fun when you get high or drunk with them, right? But it's like, what are you costing me in my fucking life, in my journey? And who is the casualty because of my interaction with you? You know what I'm saying? So because I respect myself and because I actually love and care about these people, I can no longer fucking tolerate being in conversation with this person anymore, ever. You do not have access to me anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's very true. So it's very important that you curate your reality. Only surround yourself with people who are going to love you, water you, pour into you, encourage you, support you. Not the be carefuls, not the worry about this, not the hesitation and the doubt and the excuses and the victims and the depressed and all this garbage. Surround yourself with winners, positive, killers only, right? People who want to grow and develop and become more, right? Who want to be in your beautiful garden. That's all I want. It's just positivity and support and encouragement and love. I want to be surrounded by people who make me feel effortless to love. Confident being myself, comfortable in my own skin, not the reverse of that, you know? How can you call yourself a free man when your weakness has brought you to this? If a man has in himself the soul of a slave, will he not become one no matter what his birth, even as water seeks its level? If a man has within him the soul of a free man, will he not become respected and honored in his own city in spite of his misfortune? I thought that was so true. And this is a conversation that I thought I loved. She said, or this is what he said, the guy who was sold into slavery and then was feeling sorry for himself. But what can I do, I who am a slave in Syria? And she said, stay a slave. I love that so much. Grant Cardone says that in the 10X rule. He says, don't be a little bitch. She said, stay a slave in Syria then, thou weakling. And he said, I'm not a weakling. And then she said, then prove it. It's as simple as that. You're either a fucking slave and you're slave-minded, or you have a soul for, what did they say? A free man, right? It's one of the two. If you're enrolled in this university, you are yearning for freedom, right? That's the only reason you would be affiliated with this, is you align with freedom forever, right? If you're not affiliated with that, then you're okay being a slave. And you justify and rationalize why it is that you quit and why you give up. And you can say, Tarek, I'm whole and happy and content with my life. That's fine, but it's also bullshit, because you know if you're not continuing to progress and level up, you won't stay that way. You know what I'm saying? Happiness is found in progression. And so it's a noble and infinite quest of closing the gap of who you are and the potential of who you can be. What is the credo of Ratlife? All dreams can come true. That's Walt Disney, if you have the courage to pursue them. Ratlife is anyone can escape. It starts with belief and the courage to pursue. Ratlife, we're all gonna make it, right? We're all gonna fucking make it, man. The soul of a free man looks at life as a series of problems to be solved and solves them, while the soul of a slave whines, what can I do, I who am but a slave? There are no slaves in this university. And so in the book, this is where they break down how you should allocate your expenses, your income. 70% to living / taking care of thou noble wife, 10% yours to keep for pleasure, thy personal gratification and enjoyment, 20% towards your debts. And then once that debt is paid off, you do not increase your cost of living, but you allocate then that amount to noble investments, right? My current exact standing is 80% living, so it's higher than they recommend, but for the reason that I listed. 15% towards debts, 2% towards tithing, 3% for pleasure and enjoyment in the form of food. So I do In-N-Out, ice cream, and Jamba Juice, and gas spent going to the beach on Saturday. If the gods were to bless me with this new job, this is what my percentages would be. And it's so cool knowing exactly how you would allocate your money. And I put in my notes, I said, how would I be a good steward of these coins if I were to be so blessed with them? My living expenses would go down to 55% relative to my income, because I would not increase my cost of living. 28% debt would be allocated towards debt until paid in full. Then that exact 28%, $2,000 per month, would be invested with a guaranteed 6.5% return for an ample rental, because that's how they talk in the book. 10% to tithing, so it's just money that I give away, in gratitude for my good fortune, which is so important. There's a quote from the movie Robin Hood. He's like, we can't return our good fortune with bad grace. It invites darkness. And so if you're given more, you should be giving. You know what I'm saying? The gods don't smile upon the ones who hoard for themselves and who live in that state of scarcity. I think God loves courage and abundance and people who are generous. If you give, you'll be given more and thereby have more to give. Whoa, interesting. You just need courage, man. That's it. And I put 7% for thy personal desires and gratifications. And so, yeah, I think that comes out to, it's like $785 per month, to where then, without guilt, I can actually have my indulgences. So like the TV that I want to buy, or a flight that I want to book, or a place that I want to travel to, or going skiing, or whatever. So the greatest challenge, escaping perpetual slavery, is only one thing: interest. That's where you get fucked. And it really is. So they sell you on all this bullshit they sell you on the vacation and deceive you with the sticker price. So that's in the form of a mortgage, the American dream. That's in the form of your car financing. That's in the form of your credit cards. And that's in the form of your student loans, right? You get this education, you're gonna get a great job. They sell you on the sticker price and whilst presuming to bend you over and have their way. It's so true, because they fuck you with interest. That's how they make you a slave forever. Credit card interest today, over 20%. Your mortgage interest rate, it's not 3%, which is why there's no houses on the market right now, because people are just sitting on their 2.75% interest, because interest right now is like 6%, if not, it's 7-8%. It's garbage. And I put, what was slavery? We explained that. What is slavery today? You're living it. What was the American dream? To own your own home that you could own outright in 4 years? Yeah, do that today, dude. People can't even afford the down payment for a house today. And then we're going into a renter's nation because what's happening is outside entities or businesses and corporations, they're the ones buying all the property. I think the statistic is like over 50% of residential property, yeah, not commercial, residential, where people live, it's owned by business entities or foreign entities. How fucked is that? As in, you used to be able to be a good, noble man and have your own home and have gratification in thy soul to provide for your woman and your family. Now, all these other motherfuckers, these banks and businesses, own the house that you rent from them. One man's asset is another man's debts, right? It's such garbage. And then that's what the American dream was, and what is the rat life today is the 18-year-old that gets indoctrinated and going to the fucking university to get a job, to work hard, to climb the corporate ladder, only to graduate with student loan debt, car financing debt, credit card debt, and a mortgage debt, insurance, interest rate, and then they add all of their expenses, and you have to work for necessity until you fucking die. That's the rat life. That is the American dream. It's garbage, man. And so, are you even aware of your enslavement, was a question that I posed. Can you even see the glass bowl that you're in? It's time to wake up. Great is the plan, for it leadeth us out of debt. And so that plan that's literally listed in this book, 70% over expenses and providing for thou noblest wife. 10% to your own purse to gratify your soul and enjoy the pleasures and delicacies and euphoria the next season this life has to offer. 20% allocated towards debt until they're paid in full. Keep in mind, this book wasn't written in the time where interest rate was over 20+% on credit cards. So it might be harder to get out of fucking slavery forever. And by might, I mean it is. But if you are noble and consistent, alas, slavery or freedom from that which is slavery awaits you. Okay. To finish, Jim Rohn, it's not the amount that it's important, it's the plan. It's the plan. And then this is the last one. Promise me, boy, if thou get a master, work hard for him as thou can. Work well done does good to the man who does it. It makes him a better man. Oh, oh my God. Book number 12 of Ratlife University. The richest man in Babylon. I gave you all of the gold. I extracted it and gave it to you. All of the gold in this book. I hope you enjoyed. Now, I'll finish with this. I love that I'm documenting my noble quest to freedom forever for me and everyone in my guild of Ratlife, right? This noble university, this is book number 12 to finish this noble quest. We have 1,000. But like I said in this lecture, it is a finite number, right? And the cool part is when we catalog all of our achievements along the way, by book 12 I got this, by book 100 we were able to accomplish this, by book whatever, and it'll be proof of the actionables applied in real time. And then the sentiment is like this: if he can do it, so can I. Book 1 we started, there's a clip of me living in my car, homeless for 93 days, drowning in debt, right? As if no better than a common slave. And now you're seeing me work my way out of the rat life, slowly but surely, one book at a time, progressing on this university, applying the actionables so that we can, number 1, escape the rat life, number 2, be free forever. What is the logo of Ratlife? It's a key. It's a key because I'm trying to give you the key to your freedom, right? The key to your escape, to give you a home, right? For freedom forever in a world that wants you to be a fucking perpetual slave for life. You don't have to be, right? You can be free. You can escape. You can make it. It's possible. Practice that rhetoric. Surround yourself with those voices. When I go on something, even I don't have Instagram or TikTok right now, I said I'm not going to download these apps until I've gotten this job. Because how can I justify being on this garbage if I'm not in a place where I'm able to provide for the one person that I want to provide for, right? But when it comes to the whole reason that we're doing this, man, it's just for freedom forever. And so it's like, why the fuck would you not be pursuing your freedom, right? What is the alternative? I just want to escape. I just want to be free. I just want to apply all of the actionables and be free forever for me and everyone that I love. That's why we're doing this university. That's why we're embarking and continuing to embark on this noble quest. So with that, I hope you enjoyed. You know all the homework. I may forget it, but a part of all I earn is mine to keep. Write down all of your overhead expenses to the dollar, all of them. And there's other actionables. I'll put the link in the bio to the video. Make sure to watch it. And then I said what the other homework assignment was. You'll remember. But it's very important that you do them. It's following Jim Rohn's advice. What was it? Set some time each day to look for the opportunity that's going to take care of you and your family forever. With that, book number 12 of Ratlife University. We are all gonna make it. Until next time.